Imagine a firecracker in the palm of your hand. You set it off. What happens? You burn your hand, right? Now you close your fist around the same firecracker and set it off. Well, let's just say your wife's going to be opening the ketchup bottles for the rest of your life. Welcome, everybody, to Podcast of the Rings, and we got a banger for you today.
We got a banger. Selfishly, I really wanted to watch Empire Records because I don't need an excuse to watch that movie.
And I was kind of on I need to watch The Strangers because I'm a big sissy when it comes to horror. And
you and me both.
I've seen clips of The Strangers and I know how terrifying that movie is. So it was like, okay, I voted for The Strangers on all 3 platforms. So
really?
I was like,
you cheater.
I know. I was like, I'm rigging the vote. Let's do this. And it didn't win. Armageddon won. And honestly, after watching this, it deserved to win.
It's important to know that I guess you don't need to know this, but I'm going to be honest. I rigged the vote for Encino Man.
You son of a bitch.
I have alt accounts on Twitter and stuff. So
alt accounts? Okay, I just voted on my main. Like, this is legit tampering. Like
Encino Gate.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Well, so we're doing the Beyond the Middle Earth.
I'm about to January 6th this podcast right now.
Oh, don't even talk about the debates. Don't even. I only tuned in.
I couldn't
either. But I just out of morbid curiosity, I tuned in and I happened to get to the point where Trump evaded the January 6th question and then was re-asked the question. And he double-speaked it really well. It's bad. Anyway.
It's so bad. Okay, I'm going to read you the taglines because there's 10 taglines.
Is there? For Armageddon?
All right, which one is your favorite? It's closer than you think. Heads up. Earth. It was fun while it lasted.
No.
This is a good one. The Earth's
this
darkest.
Can't be real.
No, these are on IMDb. The Earth's darkest day will be man's finest hour. For love, for honor, for mankind. Take the ride of your life.
No.
All the time in the world is all they've got. Prepare to fight like there's no tomorrow. This is my favorite. School's out forever.
Stupid. So dumb.
Time to kick some ass, Troy.
That's the best one.
No more taxes, ever. And last one, nothing on earth can prepare you.
The third one was the best, I think.
Yeah, Earth, it was fun while it lasted.
It was fun while it lasted.
That's the good one.
It's very good. I kept on thinking, a lot of people had mixed feelings about Adam McKay's Don't Look Up, but I kept on thinking about that movie. Did you watch that?
I did, and I don't know. It's everything that worked in the Money one. I can't think of what it's called. Not Dumb Money, but The Big Short. The Big Short. Everything that worked in that one, I feel like he just hasn't been able to replicate that in the Chaney movie Vice and then Don't Look Up, where everything I feel like he needs to say is done in the first 30. This again, in the same way that that Don't Look Darling or Don't Tell Darling, the Olivia Wilde Florence Pugh movie.
Yeah, Don't Worry Darling.
Don't Worry Darling, that's what it is. That would have been a really good Black Mirror episode. Where it's an hour long, there's some crazy stuff to it, and then you don't really have to explain anything. But they go too long, and you're like, okay, too much is happening that you're just not explaining. Good performances, good premise, but it just doesn't, land the plane. And it's the same with Don't Look Up, where it's okay, I get it. The scene with when they're on the talk show and Jennifer Lawrence is like, everyone's gonna die, and well, we like to put a good spin on things. That's very true.
Yeah.
But what else? But then the movie's 2.5 hours long, and you're like, okay, what else are we doing here? And you're not doing anything. And then at the very end of the movie, you try and sneak in some sincerity with the final dinner scene. I'm like, no. You didn't earn this. Leo's been cheating on his wife for the entire movie with Cate Blanchett. Jennifer Lawrence has openly disdain for Timothée Chalamet their entire dating thing.
I think about it all the time where he's like, don't be mean to me. Think about that scene.
He's just a chill, You're the checkout girl. He's just like chilling in the grocery store. Obviously, he finds you attractive. He's like, I mean, the world's gonna end. You said so. So do you want to hang out? She's like, I don't know. I guess so. You piece of shit. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
I know. So I guess that's why the movie has value to me ultimately, and is because there's some scenes that I still think about that are so good.
That's
but
totally fair.
I get what you're saying though. If that you're trying to make a political statement, you've wasted an hour and a half of our time trying to make it. So that's what I was taking away from Armageddon too, on a macro view, is these movies are dripping with patriotism.
Oh God, yes.
But the bad guy is the government.
No, you're right, because, and even with the Don't Look Up of it all, where the rest of the world finds out, you know, they're keeping it under wraps, and we'll go over the whole plot, because there's so much to go over that I just love about this movie, and a lot of stuff that is not great. But
you mean they're totally racist perspective against Asian people at every opportunity?
Every opportunity, like multiple scenes, but also like with the Don't Look Up of it all, when like the rest of the world finds out, but like, don't worry, America's got it. And they do like this throwaway line of like, oh, this joint venture, like what? No, like America just like took it upon itself to be like, oh, well, there's 10 satellites in the world that can see this thing and we own 8 of them and we'll just kill anybody else basically. So like this also, like the realism of this like seeps into this movie where, oh, this operation would fall apart and get sabotaged because we would just be arguing with each other about, you know, the Don't Look Up Israel. Like people would deny it. People would say it's a hoax, that Biden was in on it, that the liberals are telling you for this lie or whatever. Like,
you gotta wear a mask now.
Yeah, right.
I think that's exactly right. In a way, this mission in Armageddon is successful because they don't tell anybody. But the fault in their plan was, as it gets closer, more of those
they just destroyed Paris for no reason. I know there's like one shot of the crater, but it's like we're in this mission, like, oh my gosh, like AJ and them are, you know, wandering lost on an asteroid. The drill isn't working. They land on an iron plate. Oh yeah, Paris is about to be destroyed. There's so many, like this movie's 2.5 hours long, and I think it would be a legitimate, perfect blockbuster, the same way Pirates is, if you cut a half hour off. And there's so many places that I'm like, we don't need this.
Oh, I completely disagree.
No way.
This movie cooks. There's not a wasted moment on
There's
screen.
like, don't destroy Paris. And then even there's a scene where it's like after they drill the hole, like a big cheering moment. And I love the scene when Harry's on the asteroid by himself. And he's like, oh, kick and scream all you want, you old bitch. Like, you're going to die. And then like eruptions happen. Like, that's great. But there's a whole like 5-minute scene of just explosions on the asteroid where they're like, I'm like, okay. And I shout out to the one guy, the one no-name astronaut that had made it that far, and then he dies in that. I was like, dang it. You had no chance, buddy, but you did so good up until this point.
By the way, to that exact same point, I was shocked that Owen Wilson was in this movie. I haven't seen it since it came out, to be fair.
We don't make, in the most boomer way thing, like, we used to be a country, Jessica. We used to make movies like this, where every single person, that quote, the guy who says the ketchup bottles, that's Malfoy's dad. That's Jason Isaacs.
I know. It's insane.
Keith David is the one role that I'm surprised that wasn't anybody was the president. I didn't recognize.
Yeah, but that's because the president's a bad guy, I think.
I think so. But just like every single person you recognize, like there's not a wasted character actor in this.
The cast is 128 listed cast members. 100. You know how easy this is going to be to fill in Lord of the Rings?
Oh, this is going to be the best, easiest casting ever.
But so, to your exact point about the astronaut having no shot, the second we saw Owen Wilson, I'm like, oh no, baby, you're going to die.
Oh, I didn't even realize when they introduced the 4 pilots, like, oh, these are the crew of the Freedom. It's William Fichtner, famed character actor, and Hottie McHot pilot. for this thing, and then 2 random fuckheads for this one. I'm like, oh, like I've seen this movie more than you have, but I forgot that, like, oh, they really telegraphed that these other 2 guys are not gonna make it. No. And William Fichtner, who is one of my favorite actors, and he actually came into my work that one time, you know, the bar that you and Alex and them came into.
Oh, sure.
And it was like him and his like college, like, acting classmates, and they were all like telling stories, and he picked up the tab and he came over and talked to me for like 10 minutes, and he's like, no, this is like the best. Thank you guys so much for hosting us. We do this at like different places, and we kept in contact. Like, just the nicest guy. Everyone was talking about how their acting teacher changed their life. And I wish I remembered more about William Fichtner's story, because like it was one of those I wasn't even supposed to be an actor and this guy convinced me to be an actor type stories. He's just the coolest thing of just
I love that story.
Just like 12 friends stay in contact with each other. They're all like successful in Hollywood in different ways.
Sure.
And William Fichtner obviously being like the most famous of them. And just like I was like, dude, you're Heat, Armageddon, Prison Break, like I can list off a million things of this guy that he is just so good. And when he's like, you swear on your daughter's life, on my family, it's like, oh my God, we don't make movies like this anymore. This movie really is absolute trash when you look at it. And I don't care. We don't have trash movies with amazing actors like Bruce Willis, Michael Clark Duncan.
On a different page about the quality of this movie.
I'm just saying, like, when I say a trash movie, I mean like in just the dumbest premise ever.
Fluff.
It's a B movie, but it's elevated so much so. Like on paper, giant asteroid headed to Earth. Oil drillers, not astronauts, must blow up a nuke on the asteroid. Like, yeah, that's a dumb premise, but it's elevated by Bruce Willis, by Michael Clark Duncan, by kind of Ben Affleck, but I love Ben Affleck so much. I love who he's become, but this is definitely like post Good Will Hunting. I need to be an A-list star, and
totally.
And I've got big old veneers in, and I will say his if you've never seen, it makes the rounds every once in a while of his director commentary. And because like there's a scene where he like, you know, where Bruce Willis is like, yeah, these guys are astronauts, but they don't know jack about drilling. He's like, wait. And I went up to Michael Bay and I was like, so you're telling me that astronauts can't learn how to drill, point a drill at the ground, but drillers can learn how to be astronauts? And Michael Bay was like, shut the fuck up.
That's the kind of logic that has gotten Michael Bay so far.
So far.
Also, Alex and Alex watched the back half with me, and I was kind of explaining, again, also shocker that Steve Buscemi's in this fucking movie. That, like, oh, Steve Buscemi's a sex pest. Like, he doesn't know the age of the women he's sleeping with.
There's like 4 jokes in the first 10 minutes of the movie that are tough.
Yes.
Like, one of them would have worked. The one at the bar when he's flirting with the newly married woman and the FBI shows up and he goes, how old are you again? Yeah. That one would have been fine. Because like,
at least he's asking.
They're at a bar, so you assume that she's over 21. He's asking. Nothing has happened yet. He's just flirting. Like, okay, this is a good joke. I don't need you showed me how to use tampons. Harry, the FBI's here. She never told me her age. I was like, oh my God. Steve Buscemi. It's tough, man. It's real tough.
Because I'd rather him just be kinky. Because they're like conflating the kinky with a little bit of a predator. Because he's like, when are we going to do the kick in the balls test? Like some of this stuff it's great. Fucking love. But Alex brought up the scene from like Transformers 3.
4. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Michael Bay is a sex pest.
No, it's absolutely true. Like the fact that there's for people that don't know, in Transformers: Age of Extinction, the actress, I can't think of anyone's name, Jack Rayner.
Besides Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, it's Mark Wahlberg, Jack Rayner, and the girl that plays Katara from the Airbender movie, the live action bad one. And instead of just like she's a senior in high school. Like they make a point where she's about to go off to college and everything like that. Instead of just making her 18, which most high school seniors are, especially close to graduation, they have this whole scene where he's like, "Oh, Jack Raynor, you're 19 or 20. I can't remember. She's 17.
20.
This is a crime." He's like, "Oh no, we're." And I know this because I studied it for movie trivia. I don't just have this memorized. I had to learn this.
Okay, both you and Alex had this on lock, to be fair.
And he's like, it's the Romeo and Juliet statue, and he pulls a fucking laminated card from his wallet.
It's like a placard, dude. It's not even laminated. It's like a piece of plastic that he had etched into this. It's wild.
It's like this whole scene where it might be the most unnecessary, creepy thing in the history of film. And I say that completely sincerely, where there's a lot of creepy shit in movies that is out there, but like this was so unnecessary. Like it was just like, why? You could have just made both of them high schoolers. You could have just made her 18 and be like, why are you dating a high schooler? Well, she's 18. Okay, like that's it. There's a joke in there somewhere, but
they lie about where he's from because he's 100% Irish, but he's from Texas because they had they like list out the things that make it okay, and Mark Wahlberg's convinced that this is okay.
No, like that was, even watching that movie, even before that, there's like so many weird scenes where he's just like mean to Mark Wahlberg. I'm just like, if a guy ever said this to a dad, especially a dad that like, you say what you want about Mark Wahlberg, he's pretty ripped, like. Mark Wahlberg, like, and in any other movie, like, Mark Wahlberg's supposed to be, like, the tough guy.
Sure.
And he's supposed to be this Texas inventor. He would have beat the shit out of this kid. Like,
they have Mark Wahlberg from Texas.
Yes.
He's so categorically Boston. It's so dumb.
No, it's so tough.
But like that's all the parallel there is so upsetting, Michael Bay. Also, J.J. Abrams is involved in this film, which is wild.
Oh yeah, like, even with Michael Bay, he had a 15-year-old Megan Fox like in a bikini in like I think Bad Boys 2 I think it's Bad Boys 2.
This is upsetting. It's getting worse.
No, it's not good.
Hollywood's the worst.
Hollywood's terrible.
Although I will say this, Hollywood is the best because they gave us Bruce Willis, man. Bruce Willis.
We've done 2 Bruce Willis movies.
I was going to say in the future, we need to do like the 6 degrees of separation and like either all the movies that our fellowship actors have done with Bruce Willis.
No, go ahead. Finish.
No, just like, but basically if we can't do that, but like if Kirsten Dunst is in 51st, is in, Eternal Sunshine, what movie is she in with Sean Astin? Or like kind of try and do like those connectors too. But what were we going to say?
It's just tough. Like I feel bad for like Zoomers and stuff like that they just know Bruce Willis as either maybe the guy from Looper. It's probably his best non-Wes Anderson movie in this century. Or like I'm trying to think of what else.
What did he do, Wes Anderson?
He did like Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh yeah,
he's great in that. But then after this, it's like we get Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, which is great, and then a few not like some okay. I like Die Hard 4, the Justin Long one, more than most people.
Justin Long.
Yeah, Justin Long, baby. Hey, don't you talk about my...
I love Justin Long.
Better.
If you pitch him to be in Die Hard, that's where my face changes. Oh, and to your point about like this being a shit movie, I made a joke while watching it that the way they sold this in the pitch movie is like, we got a big asteroid, we got Bruce Willis, and he says, Houston, you have a problem.
Oh my, like, but that whole scene, like I was watching this and I just had a giant smile on my face where I'm just like, this is why you hire these guys to do this movie. And granted, I'm sure all of them got a huge paycheck, but just like when William Fichtner pulls a gun on him and he just goes, "Why'd you bring a gun to who brings a gun to space?" And one A+ line. Shout out to the screenwriter. Who brings a gun to space?
You need to say that out loud. You need to be what we're thinking.
It would have been better if there hadn't been 2 scenes with miniguns before this.
Why on earth are there little machine guns? Why do we have machine guns on?
I don't know. But just like what I was saying about Bruce Willis, like this, he's so good. Like I know he's very sick right now, and I know he did a bunch of straight to red box movies to help his family, and they're not great. I don't care because we have just like 15 to 20 years of just like oh my God, this is the definition.
Yeah.
And he's in the same way, this is basically John McClane saving the world from an asteroid, because you get this blue collar guy. Oh, he's just an oil driller. I love that he's hitting golf balls at environmentalists in the beginning of this movie. Good shit, Michael Bay. Fuck those people, right? Drill more oil, America.
Do you know how much oil it takes to power that rig you're on? It's so good.
And only Bruce Willis can get away with that. That's why you hire this man. He's so good.
Where he literally shoots Ben Affleck, and you love him.
And you love him.
You love him. It's so true.
Now, like, we can start going through the plot of this movie, and we'll go through it quickly because there's just
much.
It's too much, but just the Liv Tyler of it all, where she's holding her own in these opening scenes. Like, one, I love, it's a great movie thing that they are yelling over this oil equipment, because a lot of bad movies would just have them like talking like this and like, add the sound in post.
Sure.
But I love that.
Oh, the realism of them being on the rig is very much there.
Yeah, we nowadays it'd be on the volume and it wouldn't look good, but like they're on an oil rig.
That's the budget, right? The budget is blowing up a New York City street, which, by the way, again, talking about the Asian of it all, even
Eddie Griffin and the cab driver are just like the most stereotypical, like worst, like it's just everything about it is just like, how many stereotypes can we get into one scene of New York? And it's a lot.
It is a lot. The only person who is a person of color that actually has like their own living, breathing character is Michael Clark Duncan.
God, I miss him. I miss him so much.
I saw him exiting the Staples Center once. It was like, oh, that's the dude, It's hard to believe he's not alive anymore, but he's not who you would stereotypically assume a black character to be in one of these films, which I can appreciate. But everyone else is white. And like it's really we did have a diversity problem in the past.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, no, the first scene is just blow explosions, and then the oil rig is stunt upon stunt upon stunt. It's incredible.
No, it's
incredible.
It's so good. Where I think the only movie he had made up until this point was the first Bad Boys, and then they give him this another giant blockbuster. And he's just like, okay, this movie's $140 million, and I'm going to put every single cent of it on screen, either with the cast or with the action. Like, I feel like that scene that I was talking about of like the asteroid blowing, like, doing like a mini earthquake or whatever it is. I feel like he was like, oh, we got $10 million left over? No, we don't. And it's just like, that's what he did. Like, and so I can't even, it's unnecessary as I'm watching it. But I'm also like, fuck it, dude. Spend that money. Like, we don't do this anymore.
Yeah, I here's what I'm gonna say. We had to watch this because of the votes. We had to watch it because of Liv Tyler. I will watch this again sometime soon because I don't think I would have watched it if we didn't do this. Because I would have been like, oh, I saw Armageddon. I don't need to watch it again. It's good. And every moment cooks. It doesn't feel like a 2.5 hour long movie. It really doesn't.
I do love that in that New York scene, how I was saying that, what were we talking about? It was like Roland Emmerich and like their rivalry with Michael Bay, like the dog attacks Godzilla's.
Yes.
Where Godzilla 1998 had come out that year from Roland Emmerich. So that's why the dog attacks like a bunch of little Godzillas.
That's actually very funny. I thought it was more that like this could be Godzilla attacking, which is kind of funny. But that poor dog did nothing, and
he did nothing wrong.
He did nothing wrong, and the two people around him were the bad. Well, actually, the Hawaiian man was not a bad man.
No,
but he's the one who gets hit by the asteroid. It's wild. This whole movie, it mostly stands the test of time.
They just brush off Shanghai, where they're like, "What? We should warn them." He's like, "What? The whole, South Pacific? I don't know.
They don't do anything to get people to at least to move one direction.
Billy Bob, who is so fucking good in this movie.
He's too good, man. He's too good.
He is cooking with gas, and
he doesn't raise his voice. He's just
no. You know what he does? He gets the one F-bomb. This is one order you shouldn't follow, and you fucking know it. Like,
and you fucking know it is the best line.
That whole scene, Jessica, from Keith David calling the president to them, Billy Bob trying to slow the countdown down to Bruce Willis being like, I've never missed a depth. William Fichtner, you swear on my children's life. Who brings a gun to, like, everything. I'm getting chills just talking about it right now. And like, I'm gonna say it a million times, but like, even our best action movies like John Wick and stuff like that, it's all surrounding like the stunts. The stunt choreography is amazing. Like, Mission Impossible, I think, is the closest thing we get to it, where we care about the characters, where Tom Cruise is insane. Yeah. But, like, we don't get, like, these emotional scenes, even at the beginning, you know, when they're heading out. And what's his name? The coach from Remember the Titans. Will Patton. Chick. Like, the second in command of Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
His scene where he's, like, you know, he's obviously divorced, has no custody over his kid, and he's like, I'm just here to say I'm sorry, and I got something big going on. We go, and this is the power of this movie, is that we go from that to, like, straight to the strip club, and you're like, yeah, this works too. You're like, fuck it, we're here.
The best of America.
This is the men have two wolves inside of them, Jessica. We have supporting a family, and we have big old booby blondes, okay?
I don't blame you. I said to Alex when we were watching this, I was like, Liv Tyler, you point to me a more American woman. And Alex is like, well, no, she's not blonde. I was like, that's Girl Next Door.
Yes.
Man. Girl Next Door ain't
that is
a blonde.
white picket fence, like, yeah.
You come home and you love that woman. Good. And I would.
And she's so good in this movie. And yeah, a lot of the things are just like her looking forlorn at, you know, a boardroom table.
It's
but
incredible.
Like, when I'm just thinking that, when she's like playing with her wedding ring and stuff, and then she comes out and she's like, that is my family out there. Like, just
I've got nowhere else to go.
I've got nowhere else to go. Like, that is my family. She has one more line that she screams that I can't think of what it is, but she's got like 3 scenes when they're up there, not including, you know, the final phone call with Bruce Willis, which just like to this day, if you don't feel anything, you are dead.
On every monitor.
And Jessica, you think that, like, you know, the cynic in me would be like, why isn't this a personal conversation? But you don't think about that in this moment. You are in the same way that Bruce Willis and Liv Tyler know that they're on every monitor, maybe on every television. I don't know what's going on with that. But this is just them. You are locked in with just them in this moment. And it is, oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, and they earn it.
They do. And they do. And it's so weird. It's such a weird, hyper fantastical moment where he finally clicks the button after, you know, they're like, give him a minute.
Yeah.
And like his iris explodes. You see a hyper cut of him and her getting married. It's fantastical. It should never, this kind of movie should never have this kind of cut. And it totally works.
It totally works. But like, and that's the thing, is that we're just like, we are at 11 for so much of this movie where it's just like, oh, what are you going to do? You're going to turn the ship around in 10 seconds, land back on the asteroid and push the, like, stop it. That makes no sense. But just like, but again, Will Patton, Captain, I'm asking you as a man to give him 1 minute. It's so good.
Oh, honestly, his best performance is, and the nurse, who I know we've seen him do other things, where he's like, I'm just here to drill, lady. And she's like, funny, so am I.
So am I.
And his face in that moment is, he's really just, he's just one tick shy of like understated, and it's perfect.
It's exactly like, because he is kind of the only calm one of the group, him and like Owen Wilson, but Owen Wilson's just like, he's Owen Wilson. He's
a nerd.
Yeah.
Which actually I really do love that about Owen Wilson here, because I usually sometimes watch these films from like the actor perspective. Like, if I had, what would I have needed to do in the room to audition for this film to get cast, right? And Owen Wilson is unabashedly himself and being weird, and they commit. So like, you really have to, I'm looking at Owen Wilson and the bravery of like, nope, he made this role him. And yeah. So I love that about like him and Steve Buscemi. Like they're gonna be themselves in the room.
Yeah, like Steve Buscemi is like 3 different people. He's a sex pest, and then he's the smartest guy on the ship.
On the planet? Maybe?
Like, very, like, when he's just like, yeah, I taught at MIT for 2 years, and then I quit because I was bored. It's good money to drill oil, and I don't have to answer to anybody. Like, and then just like, once they land... And he's like, oh, well, we're on grid, 10,000. We're supposed to be on grid 9,000. Fucking Captain America here. And he's like, how do you know this? Because I'm a genius. And you're like, oh, my God, this is the worst script ever. But these guys are doing it so sincerely. And then the best is when he just like starts playing with a minigun. And William Fichtner, without not an ounce of irony, goes, he's got space dementia. What is that?
It's just a thing that we all know about.
Of course. And everyone in the audience in 1988 was like, oh my God, he does have space dementia. It's so sad.
It's so true. He bought in immediately. I love when he's like, I know you guys think I'm crazy right now, but I could do it.
And that's the thing is I was watching it. I was like, why do they do that? And it feels like because... if they didn't make him crazy and like tie him down,
he's the one
he would have been left behind. Like he would have pushed the button because, he owes money to the loan shark. He would have been like, yeah, you know what? I don't have much. Harry, you've got a new son and a daughter to take care of. And so I understand that, but it's still like, he's got space dementia.
It's so good. Yeah. And I was like, listen, if William Fichtner came up to make sure that the protocol happened, right? To make sure that nuke was going to go off one way. So much so that he brought a gun. He should have been the one to stay, right? Because that woman could have flown the ship back.
I don't think she could have. Not maybe her with now that they have the cosmonaut there. That like I don't know if it like takes two. I'm not saying that she couldn't, but I'm saying like it might take 2 pilots.
I got it because I'm thinking if he's about to kill these guys and die and let that bomb go off. He should be the one to press the button. Well,
he was saying he's going to let the bomb go off, but he's like, we have to get this off and get the fuck out of here.
That's true. He's not like prepared 100% to die.
He's trying to get off the rock. Yeah.
He's still the bad guy for a hot minute though. And he needs a little bit of a redemption arc.
And that's what is so good about this is that this is very America first. But not like at the beginning, you're like, yeah, patriotism, military, Michael Bay, sunset, slow motion helicopters.
Lens flares. You can see where JJ got it. Yeah. You really can.
And then it goes to be like, no, the real America. And like the fact when like tornado sirens are going down in small town America and you legit see like an old red Chevy truck in like a farm. I'm like, what?
In the 50s?
Did we portal or something? What did we?
Because even when they succeed, the kids are fucking flying their model planes past a fucking JFK sign. What are you telling me? Those kids are dirt poor.
Yeah.
Dirt poor. I don't know. It's like that's the world we're saving.
The time in this like doesn't make sense because there's one movie mistake that I can't get over, and I don't mean to nitpick, but Bruce Willis shoots Ben Affleck in the leg.
Okay,
and then right after that, the government shows up and says, "We need you. Get your daughter." And Ben Affleck is on the rig with Liv Tyler in that moment, and I'll only go if my daughter goes. Okay, they land at NASA, 18 hours. He says 18
hours.
The words 18 hours. We've been apologized for 18 hours. They explain what's going on. I'll give them another 6 hours.
Maximum.
And then we got to find all our guys.
Which is ridiculous to begin with.
It's so ridiculous, but I'm there for it. It's a great sequence of like, Come Together by Aerosmith playing over it. Like you hear the doom doom doom. Like okay, I'm in this.
Playing it. Okay, cool.
I think Aerosmith kind of owned this soundtrack. So
oh yeah, that's fair.
And then AJ has started his own business. It's got
weathered signs of
weathered signs. Has a bunch of oil things chugging along, and he's like, "Yeah, going into business for myself has been great, motherfucker." What?
2 days.
Max 2 days. Max 2 days. And he has his own, like, multi-generational family business, apparently.
on the farm in Iowa somewhere.
Yeah, like...
And the only reason they're weathered maybe is because they are in tornado country, and maybe like
no, it says AJ, like President AJ, whatever his last name is. Like it's not like oil. Like, yeah, I can say whatever. Like it's an old fence. I can forgive the fence. I cannot forget the weathered AJ President on there.
It makes no sense.
I hadn't noticed it until this. And I was like, wait, how when you're watching it for the first time, you're like, man, he did it. He's feeling great. And like, it is my favorite Ben Affleck scene where he's like, I just want to hear 5 words from you, Harry. AJ, I've always looked up to you, and I love you so much, and I've always looked at you as a son. And then he responds with, AJ, there's not a single job on Earth I'd work with you. And you're like, oh, you see what he means? He's not going to be on Earth. That's a great line. And so you forgive that he's built an entire fucking oil empire in 18 hours.
It's so bad. It's so bad. That is something I wanted to address too, and Alex and I reflected on this as well, that it is beautiful to see the two men finally admit that they love each other, right? And it's actually lovely that early on Ben Affleck's like, that's all I want to hear from you, man. Like early on. But I don't love the messaging that like you have to be close to death to finally say, I love you. But I want to posit one thing to you. Okay. I think Bruce Willis is God and Ben Affleck is Jesus.
I could see it. I'm not even going to argue with you about it. Like,
because he says my son as he's going up, and it's weird, man. And he's like the savior, and he's letting his son, and she's Mary. Some weird shit's going on, and I think there's a world where he's God in this.
I'm okay with it, honestly. I'm really okay with it. But I love that you see exactly. It's not anything, groundbreaking or Lars von Trier or anything like that. But like, he drills, he makes a mistake, but like he was right. They got oil, but he risked a lot of people's lives. He gets fired. And then when they're training, he's drilling and he's like, no, the computer's wrong. Your drill can handle this. You have to trust me. He's like, no, you're going to get people killed. We got to do this. And then when he comes back and he's like, Harry, do you trust me? And he's like, I trust you. And he gets it. AJ was right the whole time. And it's
you're an AJ apologist.
I'm not an AJ apologist because like Bruce Willis is right. We're like, this is a team thing. You are showboating, like that kind of stuff. But like
you don't need to push an oil rig in the middle of the ocean and risk people's lives. That's not like, it's not life or death here, man. But in this case, Affleck is right? Like this is life or death. And they are like padding the margins for sure. It's so good. It's so good.
It's so like I love it so much. So much of this movie works. So much of like Peter Stormare as the cosmonaut. Is Fargo before or after this? Fargo's before. So he gets hired for like every Michael Bay movie from now on because of Fargo.
Oh.
And he's just living life in this movie.
Because it's him and Steve Buscemi, which I love that in Fargo, Steve
Buscemi's in a lot of Michael Bay movies too.
Really?
I think he's at least in 2. He's in this and The Island, I know. And then I know, he's in 3 because he's a voice of one of the Transformers. So
is he?
He is. So Michael Bay and Steve Buscemi must get along famously because
Is there a more iconic looking and sounding actor than Steve Buscemi? And good actor.
That's tough.
And let me add this to this. Is there a better rock band than Aerosmith from America?
From America? I think
because that's a tough argument.
Rolling Stones. Oh, no, Mick Jagger. Yeah, that's right. They are. That is tough.
Skynyrd is maybe, but you don't have bangers like Aerosmith.
It's like, I don't know, ZZ Top's up there, Kiss is up there.
Yeah, but you still don't have like ubiquitous bangers like Aerosmith.
It just depends because like people would argue for like Nirvana or Pearl Jam.
But I'm talking about
like old school rock and roll, like classic rock. Yeah,
not grunge. I'm talking about rock, and that possible. Is a distinction.
There's an argument to be made for sure.
And every time I talk to people about it, Aerosmith is pretty much like the one that hangs up in the air. But like just because we don't laud them as like equitable as like Led Zeppelin or the Beatles, they're still it kind of actually makes you feel sad for American rock in general that we don't have like the top 3 bands you would list in America.
It's tough. It's
right?
tough. Like we didn't invent rock and roll. Like I think we perfected it. But I don't know. Like Beatles are definitely like a rock band, but I wouldn't even put them.
They're in their own category, no matter what.
Yeah, and
even against Rolling Stone, they're in their own category.
Yeah.
But you're still talking about number 1 band of all time. America in that era doesn't have number 1 band of all time. Anyway, Liv Tyler's
number 1 pop artist of all time. I think we've got like out of the top 10 pop artists, we've got at least 7 of them.
We got that on lock. I think, England can't hold a candle to what we've got going on. Now they have some pretty artistic and amazing pop artists like Annie Lennox. Okay.
Nah. Now
Spice Girls were the biggest.
We own the fucking finish line, Jessica. Sorry,
this is gonna ruin the tour.
The Olympics are coming up. I'm feeling so like this movie, and I'm gonna watch. I'm probably gonna watch.
It's 4th of July this week.
It's 4th of July week. I'm probably gonna watch Independence Day. Like honestly,
I want
though,
to now too. Yeah,
this movie might be a better. I can't say it's a better 4th of July movie because it's literally called Independence Day, and we beat the aliens on 4th of July.
Right,
but it's close. It's closer than it should be for having nothing to do with 4th of July.
Totally.
But like, if they would have just added that line of like, oh, the meteor's going to hit us in 15 days. What day? July 4th. Game over. That's literally all you had to do. And the fireworks in the same way like Independence Day was, the fireworks. And I'm pretty sure Michael Bay, they might have had that note and Michael Bay's like, because I think Independence Day is 96 and this is 98.
It's a little bit before.
He's like, we can't do that. We can't do the same note because it would have been the exact same note of like.
For some reason, I thought they did do that where the meteor particles dissolved. And
I think they purposely didn't show it because they have that. That's like the final shot of Independence Day is all the debris from the mothership coming down. Right. And Michael Bay was probably like, we're not doing that.
And you can't.
No. And it's better for it because you have like the montage of, Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck getting married over Aerosmith. And it's beautiful. You got all the pictures at the wedding and everything.
Speaking of chills, that moment crushed me.
It has no right to be this emotional. But and that's the thing is that's what's frustrating is that like Michael Bay, you've done this. You've done the good character stuff before. Like in The Rock, I care about Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. And then Bad Boys, I at least like Tia Leone and, the 2 leads. And then after that, it's just like to the fucking moon with everything and not in a good way. Like I know there's plenty of people that love all the Transformers movies and Bad Boys and The Island and Pain and Gain and just like, there's things to like about those. I honestly find them just so fucking insufferable. Where, the action is fun, but every single attempt at humor, every single attempt at like sincerity just goes so far left and so bad. I'm just like, what happened? Because you have this template right here where you go literally like we talked about, the Will Patton of going from divorced dad on the verge of tears, telling his kid, I got something big. As his wife just said, oh, that's just the mailman. Your father's dead. Like, that's so crazy.
Bad. It's so bad.
It's so bad. And then we go to a strip club and you're like, this is still fun. Who cares?
I think it's the writing. I think because like any other film, even with good writing, the way Michael Bay is shooting it and the way it's probably written too, it's like these small capsule scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't really work for character development elsewhere, but all these people are real strong caricatures and we get these wonderful montages of them. That's a formula that doesn't really work for everything. It really doesn't. But for this kind of film, it really does. And you have to cast the right actors for those kind of things. So I think the thing is, Michael Bay definitely is an auteur in his own way, whether you like it or not, what he does. But his voice works well for this.
Yeah, and like even like you can see, we talked about the terrible stereotype jokes, but even like the guy in the Hubble has his own telescope, which is like screaming at his wife. He's like, I'd like to name it whatever,
Dottie, because she's a
life-sucking bitch.
It's insane. But like again, you never see that guy again.
Never.
but it's the pacing of this, even though it is 142, a lot of minutes, the pacing is what makes it quick, quip, and work.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like we just don't see anymore, where a lot of movies that are 2.5, 3 hours long, which seems to be like we've normalized that now.
Yeah, totally.
Where it's like, okay, we've got this on the oil rig, and then we've got them explaining, and then we've got the guys gathering, and then we got another montage of them taking the test, and then we're building the armadillo, and then we're going out to the strip club, and it's like exactly a boom, boom, boom. It's like we never feel like we're in the same place. We're always moving it forward. We're always progressing. We're learning new things.
It's almost two different movies.
Yeah.
Too.
And once we take off, it's like, oh, we're in it now. Like we're in the because for a Michael Bay movie, it's pretty restrained in the action for a good portion. And I feel like that's why they have to have Michael Bay's like, we have an explosion, 25 minutes. Let's destroy Shanghai.
It 100% feels that way.
Yeah.
Every time there's an explosion, especially with hindsight. If we're in that movie theater in 98 or 99, whatever, we don't feel that way. We're like, oh yeah, you're just chugging on popcorn.
Oh, just downing Dr. Pepper and popcorn and just like, yeah, America, that's right. We're the ones that would destroy the asteroid. God damn it! Like,
it's insane. But with this perspective, 20 years later, we can see the mechanics of all this. I just don't think we could make another movie like this, and we're better for having this in our arsenal. We really are.
It's something. It's the way the world has moved on from these type of movies, but this is such a time capsule, but it doesn't feel dated at all. No. I don't miss the time of cell phones or anything. I don't need Harry to look at his smartphone and be like, "Oh, NASA's calling me." I don't care about that. It doesn't feel dated.
No, yeah, totally.
It really doesn't, because there's no technology of the radios or anything they use that I'm like, "Oh man, look at that."
They wouldn't still use that,
because even when they're like, "Oh, Max wants to bring back 8-track tapes," that was old in 1998. Granted,
the only dated thing that happens is the newscasters go off to we're gonna go off air, enjoy your family. Alex Jones would be screaming.
Oh my gosh. No, they would get the ad rev until the fucking shockwaves would hit them, Jessica.
That's right.
The tidal wave would have to take out the studio before they got off the air.
That's exactly right. I'm just saying that's the only part that I was like, that doesn't.
Yeah, it's so funny because they talk about we don't want to send people into mass hysteria and basically the worst parts of the Bible, and they never show it. That's and I'm okay with it. I don't need to see that side.
It's not a movie.
It's not that movie.
No.
But they purposely don't show those things of society would collapse.
Yeah.
Of there would be riots and looting and, cults forming and all just terrible things happening. And again, I'm very okay with them not showing it because this is a fucking salute 'em, God bless America movie.
Salute 'em and shoot 'em.
Fuck yeah, Jessica, let's go. That's 10 years of improv right coming in right there, baby. That's improv captain right there. She's gonna make a Herald team now. That's why she moved to Chicago, y'all. She's going straight to the roots of improv.
Hey, Second City, I'm here.
I'm here, baby. Talk about the third city.
My ass is big enough to be that. Anyway, let's take a break. Let's get to the other side. Let's talk about the lotr of it all. Are you ready? Or is there anything else that you need to leave on the table before we go on the other side?
There's just so much. It is tough to quantify this movie and how much you can be cynical about it, absolutely, but just it's the character actors for me of just we don't. That's the thing I miss about this, is that these quote unquote nothing parts, the Keith David part, the Jason Isaacs part, they would just be filled with an up and comer that you wouldn't remember nowadays, and that's really unfortunate because Keith David saying oh, half these guys wouldn't survive the thing. I'm surprised they survived the test, and stuff like that. And then, the opening, ketchup bottle thing, you remember this stuff. You remember.
It's so good.
And what a perfect way to explain an explosion.
I think about it often.
And that's another 4th of July thing. Firecracker in your hand.
There we go.
I'm talking myself into it, Jessica. I'm talking myself into it.
I think we're going to be, instead of watching Independence Day this week, rewatching Armageddon. It's that good. It's just that good.
It really is.
All right, Ben. See you on the other side.
Alrighty. I honestly could talk about Armageddon for forever. There are so many moments in this movie that I just absolutely love. I think my main favorite part is the nuclear bomb countdown standoff. Like that part just literally sings to me. Where everyone.
I'm sorry, you don't think that animal crackers going into white panties?
I went to the bathroom. That is your like pee break. If we had a category for pee break, it's that. I hate to say it because
you just hit pause.
We're here for Liv Tyler, so I hate to do that to her. But like that, it's tough, dude.
And I know it's so cringe.
Because
it's just cringe.
The next scene with them, I'm leaving on a jet plane is so
I
good.
I
that
know.
None of them can sing. You don't care. There's like they gotta go, but it's a great moment. And so the animal cracker scene is the more painful one. I'm just like, oh man, this sucks.
This is what he's living for. He's like, when she's like, do you think someone's doing this exact same thing at this exact moment? I can fucking guarantee you, Liv Tyler, nobody's doing this right now.
I do love the response. Like, it is like the most American thing of like, if they're not, what the hell are we fighting for? You're not fighting to begin with. You're not fighting the asteroid, by the way. This isn't a war.
Alex brought up the fact that in their wedding, when they have the pictures of Owen Wilson and Matt Tex, I don't know, the fucking guy, and Bruce Willis, they're in their astronaut outfit and they're not astronauts.
Yeah.
But I was like, I did say that it was probably the highest.
That's probably the NASA
photo.
PR guy. Yeah.
He really is, because America's invested in their fucking wedding now.
That is literally like the royal wedding.
Yes.
Like the daughter of the guy that saved the world and the second in command. Like that's the royal. Like that is on CNN, live streamed on Fox News, everywhere. That's millions of views. People breaking it down. Like
she's Princess Kate Middleton now. She's
absolutely like they are, even without the no paying taxes and whatever else they got. Like they are set for life.
Oh, and of course Steve Buscemi's Booker is paid off. So he's good. They're all good. Yeah, you're totally right that the PR is involved. How
did the stripper get onto the landing pad, by the way? Like
I think at this point, well, first of all, they had to bail him out from jail. So they definitely knew where he was and where the stripper was. How did anybody get there?
I'm just saying, like,
Liv Tyler, how is there a crowd of people at Cape Canaveral just fucking cheering these people on?
That makes sense to me, because like that's where they're gonna land. Like they're landing, they're not like landing, in the ocean with like an escape pod. But like that makes sense. But like, how did the random stripper that I don't even know if he knows his name.
Molly Mounds is her Molly.
Okay, this movie is the greatest thing ever made. Why didn't it win every Oscar?
Not a wasted minute on screen. I'm telling you.
Best supporting actress, Molly Mounds.
One time I did a euphemism for my vagina and called it a soft mound, and that's very upsetting.
That is very upsetting. Why did you say that? Can you edit that out?
No. Because that's what I do. Every occasional cringe, occasional ick.
Lord, if you're listening, can you send another asteroid right at me right now?
Oh, the amount of times Bruce Willis prays to God is intense. Anyway, let's do the list.
All right, let's do our questions. What stands out as the best moment for this actor, Liv Tyler?
Oh, I mean, if it isn't her standing in front of the American flag, I don't know.
So many giant American flag moments in this movie. It's so great.
God, when she cries, there's nothing better.
She is such a good, like, scream crier, too. Like, I can't decide if it's
Is it because her father's a good scream singer?
It might be. But, like, it's either... It's got to be the last, 20 minutes of the movie of, like, either her conversation with Bruce or, like, my whole family's up there or something. Like, those two moments, like, really, I was like, whoa, okay.
I don't know ultimately why she isn't... I have to imagine she chose to just not be a bigger star because... Yes, Nepo baby. You said it perfectly in our Twitter. She's the best Nepo baby out there because she's a good actor.
That's the thing, is that we're talking about that. I can't remember who brought it up. Like, just like because of like Madam Web has come out and Dakota Johnson seems very nonchalant. Everyone's like, oh, well, she's a Nepo baby. She doesn't worry about anything. It's like, Nepo babies are always going to be there, but the bad ones are going to get filtered out. In any business, any scenario.
They usually do.
That's the thing, is that if they're bad,
they'll get their shot.
Exactly.
They'll get
their shot, and are they getting a shot where other people... Oh, you know what? It's because Bronny James, LeBron James' son, just got drafted to the Lakers.
Okay.
And he had like
wow, he's been playing that. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
And that's the thing, is that like I'm focused on the positive. Like, holy shit, LeBron's been playing like averaging 27 points a night for 20 years and is playing so long that there's pictures of him playing at the Cavs facility with a baby Bronny James. And it's like, it's insane. And it's like, yeah, does Bronny James, one, he still has to make the team. Just because he got drafted doesn't mean he's on the team. He's probably going to go to the G League. It's okay. But it's also like, you know what? Who cares? If Bronny James isn't good enough to play in the NBA,
he's not going
make
to
the NBA team. And it's the same thing with Nepo babies and acting. They'll get a supporting role in a movie or here, and if they don't click with audiences, if they don't get along with directors, if they're not good actors, they're going to phase out.
A very good example of this was Jack Nicholson's son came to the acting school that I worked at.
Okay.
And the owner of that acting school was so excited that she got to go. Not only did he come to our school to train, but she got to go to his house to train him at times too. And it's Jack Nicholson. Kid was ass. He was sort of good looking, but not good. And then a year later, he was the lead in some shitty Amazon show, and no one's heard from him since.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Like, he got a show. Good for him. He's Jack Nicholson's son.
Yeah.
He's not good. In 10 years, maybe if he continues working on his craft, could he be better? He'll still get the shot.
Yeah.
He'll get another shot later. But you're totally right that ultimately we're better for knowing Maya Hawke, right? We're better for knowing Liv Tyler. There is such a thing as royalty. And sometimes it does trickle down to excellent actors. Liv Tyler is a great example of that.
George Clooney's a Nepo baby. Like, I know it's like his aunt is Rosemary Clooney from White Christmas. But like
Nick Cage.
Yeah. Like we are the richer for like talented people having connected family members. And granted,
Estevez.
Are there people that have been busting their ass for, 15 years in the business? Like, sure. And some of those people make it, and then some of them don't.
Totally.
And that's literally every business. It's all about who you know in everything. In your fucking 9-to-5 corporate jobs, it's gonna be the guy that knows the manager that gets promoted before, like, if you, like, even I'm a bartender. Like, I have 12 years of experience of every single type of bar out there. I sent out 400 resumes, and the only thing I got was because my friend was like bartending, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we're hiring. You should come in." Okay, and I got the job.
Yep, that's usually how it works. Especially if I had a full. Yeah, I don't know if you have server dreams or server nightmares, but I've been having them so regularly that I expect a paycheck at my old job. I love it. It's like, because and it's like real time. It's not me going back in time. It's like, and last night I busted a full shift.
Oh, wow.
I did pretty good. Like,
okay.
You know how you're usually bad, a bus full of fucking teenagers come in, or like you can't remember to just serve this person or whatever. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than I had been in a while, and I was handling this. It's still a stress dream, but crazy. Anyway, yeah, I think her televised or whatever, for the first time ever, the radio works and his fucking screen's perfect, and she does the Titanic hand slap against the TV, and I love you, daddy, after calling him Harry all throughout the movie. It's the best moment. I agree with you.
That scene of like her hand on the monitor and all the monitors in the room are static and it's just her in the chair, just A+ stuff.
Iconic.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Who in The Fellowship would you recast for this actor? I could see Cate Blanchett. Do we have to answer this?
Oh. It is funny because she's in Don't Look Up.
I could see Cate Blanchett or Miranda. Maybe not Miranda Otto, but I could see Cate Blanchett in this role.
Miranda Otto is a little, I don't know, she's a pretty crier too.
It's tough because Liv Tyler is homegrown American.
Yeah.
Of the, like you said, of, the top 5 American rock bands of all time.
Royalty.
Like, American royalty. So it is tough to recast 2, like, Europeans in that. Miranda Otto is she British? Miranda Otto?
She's got to be UK something, right?
Let me see. Miranda Otto.
But if you, if I'm thinking Steve Zissou, Kate Blanchett, I could see her pull this off, But the thing about
Australian.
Okay.
Australian.
The thing about Kate Blanchett is she's so, even her vibe is independent, and something about Liv Tyler, she has agency, but she's so vulnerable that you want to protect that. And I don't think either of those women can do that. Have this vulnerability that Liv Tyler brings. I'd put Miranda Otto in this role before Kate Blanchett, honestly, probably.
Honestly,
Honestly,
I'll put Miranda Otto in this role.
Shut the fuck up.
All right. Does Peter Jackson directing this movie make it better?
No,
it doesn't. I think it's still a good movie.
It's not the same movie.
It's not the same movie, and I think we do see the rioting and looting and like religious cults and stuff like that popping up. Like this is,
and he makes it a 3-parter too.
Yeah, this is America. Fuck yeah, the movie. And you know what? I'm okay with it, man. Like I said, Olympics are about to start. People are starting to like talk shit on America. Like, oh, I hate hearing the anthem all the time. Did you see that? There's like this Australian swimmer because they won like the 2023 World Championship, like the non-Olympics.
Yeah.
They won that. And they're like, oh, it felt good, especially like beating America because like all the American fans have like these cowbells. And then I got so tired of hearing the national anthem. 1,
we're coming for you, bro.
We're coming for you. 2, you just admitted. Think of any song you like. Think of any song. How long does it take before you get sick of that song? So you just admitted you hear the national anthem so many times.
Oh,
we fucking rock your shit so many times that you're tired of it. Get fucking wrecked, kid.
He lost regardless.
Yeah.
Just with that admission.
And then on 3, the sweetest thing, and I don't mean to be mean because I know swimmers are not like NBA players that are like, yeah, we'll go play in the Olympics and do this, but we'll come back to the NBA and make millions of dollars. The Olympics is their like peak.
Right.
So I do feel bad in a certain extent that this swimmer, Kate something, I can't remember her name, she didn't make the Olympic team. So like after all the shit she talked about coming to the Olympics and beating America, she ain't even gonna be there.
Wah, wah. That's the potty kiss right there. That's very good. Kiss of the Irish, very good.
But yeah, I do feel bad, but not that bad. America, fuck yeah. All right. Could the main characters of this movie deliver the ring to Mount Doom?
Yes.
I think they could.
That's what they're doing in this movie.
Like, I don't know if a movie has ever fit to our questions better than this, because I would love to see the crews of the Freedom and the Independence. By the way, Freedom and the Independence.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
So good. But like you're talking about the Fellowship here, not perfect people.
No.
And that's why I'm so
just
excited
the right
to cast.
people.
Just You're telling me astronauts can't learn to beat oil diggers. But Bruce Willis and I mean, it's really interesting that they separate them too, but Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck go to Mount Doom together, man. They might fight each other all the way down.
Yeah.
Or up, but they're going there.
I love it.
They deliver that ring, and there's not even a question. There isn't even the temptation of like, let me just hold on to this ring. Like, there's no Frodo temptation at the end. Ben Affleck or Bruce Willis just drops it in.
You know what? I think Ben Affleck gets tempted.
Yeah,
because he wants to give the ring to Liv Tyler.
I was gonna say, is Liv Tyler the ring? That's
very true. All right. Final question before we do our recasting. What are some other honorable mentions for this actor?
Oh, I mean, like I said, I think maybe it's probably a choice that Liv Tyler doesn't become a huge, bigger star. I have to imagine she's just like, I kind of did it, you know?
Yeah, I think like after Lord of the Rings, with like a lot of these actors, I feel like a lot of them were just like, okay, we're in the biggest movie of all time.
What else are we going to do?
How can I expand my craft? How can I, become a better actor? Elijah Wood went back to being a weird little guy and we love him for it. Viggo Mortensen has, I think, won 2 Oscars, or has been at least nominated for a bunch of Oscars since then.
He's directing now, which I think we should put that on the list when we go into it. So I'm with you. Part of me was like, okay, if I had to watch The Strangers under duress, this would be the situation. Because from a psychological standpoint, I'm curious to watch that movie. Like, that's the only, like, I remember when it came out and I was like, oh, this is fucking scary. And I kind of want to know what happens.
I think that's it's tough to say that's her most iconic movie because, there was just a Strangers, like either prequel, remake, sequel, whatever horror movies do nowadays. So like that legacy has lasted, but I don't know if you think of Liv Tyler when you think of The Strangers, you think of like, The Masks and, the home invasion and stuff like that.
I didn't realize she was in that movie.
Yeah.
Until, I mean, probably at the time I did, but right now, until you said she's in it, I was like, what? And
it's so weird because it's her and Scott Speedman.
Oh, I love that guy.
And that's the thing. It's like 2 very at the time actors that you're like, why? It's like 2 people like, why aren't you 2 more famous?
Yes.
It's kind of like, it's a weird combination of like, why didn't both of you become
huge,
the biggest stars? Because they're both good actors and beautiful people.
I mean, and it's not like they don't work. Like Scott Speedman's like been on TV here and there,
Oh yeah, they're both very successful, but it's like, it's the same thing I say of like Rachel McAdams at some point. I'm like, why aren't you fucking everywhere? Like and Rachel McAdams has an amazing career. Like truly an amazing career, but like,
the
why
answer
aren't
to that
you?
Is her age,
and it's so unfortunate because she's so good. I love Rachel McAdams in everything,
but she's hit that age where they don't know what to do with a 40-year-old, and maybe later she'll resurface and do more work. But like by the time she did It's Me, God, Margaret, and she's the mom, people don't want to hire her anymore, which is a fucking mistake. And maybe that's what happened to Liv. I hope not, because in these movies she's a solid 30 plus, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she's a little bit younger in this movie, but not by much. She's an adult. She's a full-fledged adult. Anyway, I think Empire Records is where she really stands out. Also really good, adolescent, but trying to be independent. She really does fit that timeless thing. I don't know. She's just so beautiful.
She's 21 in this movie.
And we're going to see her. She's 21?
1977.
Wild, dude. Then maybe she just reads older, but she does
read like very, very like
mature.
Like, mature.
But I think we are going to see her in the new Hulk, right? Because they basically go back.
Yep, Captain America: Brave New World coming up.
Yeah, yep.
Betty Ross.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. That'll be nice to see her again. Because she's also pretty darn good in the Incredible Hulk too. So, we could have put that on the list. I think I forgot that we should have put that on the list.
Watching this again, who gives
I'm just
shit?
saying, the next time we do this, we have plenty of
red, white, and blue over green, baby.
Ooh.
Now comes the hard part, because we had to edit this, because like Pirates flowed so easily for us. This is going to be tough.
It's because there's so few characters, I think.
Yeah. Like, this is so tough because everybody has a scene and everybody's like, oh, I want this guy in this. So we're just going to start with our fellowship and we're going to put them where we think they belong. We might go back, but we will post the final results on Twitter and I will get to start getting those screenshots.
Poor guy.
Okay, Viggo Mortensen, I think he's Bruce Willis. I think he's Harry.
I'm just thinking. I think that's right.
Because I've got Sean Bean, or like, do you think Orlando Bloom is AJ? It's Ben Affleck.
Oh, no, I think Sean Bean is, because when they end up as brothers and family, and like, I would have gone with you to the end. I don't know. Sean Bean's too serious, man.
Do you think Sean Bean is Truman?
Ooh.
I could see Sean Bean as Truman.
Ooh. Again, it's hard. Are we talking about Sean Bean or are we talking about Boromir?
Talking about Sean Bean. We're recasting actors.
Okay.
Or do you think like Hugo Weaving is Truman?
No, Hugo Weaving is the guy who's like the firecracker guy.
Oh.
Who explains the firecracker.
Okay, so Vigo is Harry Stamp. I'm just gonna say Bruce Willis. I can write down the characters later. Orlando Bloom, I think, is Ben Affleck.
Ooh, I feel weird about that. You don't think that's like?
Do you think it could be like? Do you want it to be like Elijah Wood?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, is that no? He's not rough enough. No, Orlando Bloom is better because the problem is I'm conflating them with their characters.
Because I could see Orlando Bloom and Liv Tyler together as well.
Yeah, you're totally right. Okay, so Orlando Bloom is AJ for sure.
Okay. Now, John Rhys Davies. Who do you want? Do you want him to be Michael Clark Duncan? Do you want him to? Because I like what's his name, Max Ken Hudson, the big guy who's getting the mom tattoo when he gets arrested.
That's what I was thinking initially for him, like because that guy's the comedic relief for the majority of this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I guess we could combine those characters because I don't think we're gonna have enough, to cast both the freedom and the independence. We don't have enough fellowship actors. Like, good lord, there's so many people in this movie.
Yeah. I think let's just put it this way. He's like one of those driller dudes. He could definitely be Michael Clark Duncan
/ Bear.
Yeah, totally could be.
All right, Christopher Lee.
Wait. Is he Owen Wilson?
No.
Okay. Christopher Lee is the general.
Oh, Keith David?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Ian McKellen. Now, do you think Ian McKellen is Truman? I'm not hating on any British or Australian actors, but it's so hard to recast these guys as like true-blooded Americans. Like,
no, dude. That's exactly right. It's not.
There's so many problems with America, but when it comes to like patriotism with dumb shit like sports and movies, I'm like, yeah, come on,
I get
out of our country.
It's only because we were born here.
Yeah, 1776 is when the history started.
I mean, I had a whole conversation about the forming of the Constitution with my father 2 days ago, and with pride, like crazy. I don't know. You don't think Sean Bean is Truman? I think Sean Bean is Truman.
Okay, we'll take Sean Bean is Billy Bob.
Where does Ian McKellen go?
Ian McKellen, I'm trying to think.
He's Steve Buscemi. No,
Steve Buscemi is Elisha Wood.
Yes. And Dominic Moynihan is Billy Boyd is Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Sean Astin is. I'm sorry.
No, I want Sean Astin to live. Like, because Owen Wilson dies before he ever sets foot on the...
Well, Ian McKellen is the second in command, dude. The salesman. That's just a salesman.
Okay, quick. Do you think Sean Bean is Will Patton, the divorced dad, who says, Oh, you know who Ian McKellen is? Ian McKellen is William Fichtner. He's the guy. He's the government guy. Okay. Yes. So Ian McKellen.
Wait, hold on. Sean Bean is that guy.
You're right. Okay, so Sean Bean is William Fichtner.
And then Ian McKellen is Will Patton.
Yep. As Will Patton. Kate Blanchett, is she Hottie Pilot?
No, she's Molly Mounds.
No.
Yes, of course she is. She would slay that role.
Kate Blanchett would slay anything, but I think like... Oh man, this is why you watch the video, y'all.
Please explain to them because I can't.
Jessica was so excited to say whatever she wanted to say that she was halfway. One, she drinks water out of a mason jar like a fucking hipster, and then she was halfway through drinking.
The reason I can't cut it out is if I were to on the video, you're like, why is she
giant water stain? Yeah. Okay, so Kate Blanchett, I think, is co-pilot Jennifer Watts. I think
you're right.
And because or should I kick you in the balls and you float away due to anti-gravity? That is Kate Blanchett for
Chef's kiss, 100%. You're totally right.
Hugo Weaving. I think Hugo Weaving is Truman.
Okay. I think I said he's either Truman.
He's either Truman or Jason Isaacs, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm okay with like not being quite sure which one right now.
I don't know, because, a year after this is The Matrix, and he's got a great American accent as Agent Smith, and he's got that he's just presence.
So menacing. Oh, yeah. And you know what he says? And you fucking know it
and
really well.
And you fucking know it. He gets, I want to see Hugo Weaving drop the PG-13 F-bomb, for sure.
It's amazing. They're in a 2.5 hour long movie.
So he's Billy Bob. All right, so we've got the hobbits left over, and granted, we can put Denethor in here. We can put, Eowyn and Carl Urban and stuff like that. Oh, fuck. We should put Carl Urban in this movie.
We actually have to.
We actually have to put Carl Urban in this movie. Yeah. Oi! This asteroid's going to destroy Earth.
Are you sure he's not Truman?
He's too young at this point. Like, if we do Carl Urban now, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Because Dominic Moynihan or Billy Boyd is Owen Wilson. Right? Is Oscar.
Billy Boyd, I think he's the cosmonaut. I think he's like the crazy Russian guy. He's Peter Stormare.
That's very good. Although I actually think you make Carl Urban that character because he's so good as Bones.
Yeah.
And getting pissed at things.
Yeah. Peter Stormare.
And then Billy Boyd, I think you just fill him in, right? Like they're still great because they're these side guys.
Yeah, Billy Boyd is Owen Wilson, and then there's the other astronaut. He can be Gruber. Dominic Monaghan can be. I think you know what? Sean Astin is Gruber because he's like the other military guy that makes it all the way until the end and then dies. Because he's the other guy following orders. And then Dominic Monaghan. You know what? I want to hear. You know what it is? Dominic Monaghan is Owen Wilson. And Billy Boyd is Jason Isaacs doing the firecracker thing. Because I want to hear in Billy Boyd's accent, you got a firecracker. And I can't do that accent.
He cannot command a scene like that.
I want to see him try.
Great. I'm just telling you, he can't. But God bless him. God, if you can hear us. We're really close to God's ear. This is a whole fucking movie, man. Yeah. So run it down for us. Go ahead.
Okay, so
give us the list.
I've got Liv Tyler, stays the same. Mm-hmm. Viggo Mortensen is Harry Stamper, who is Bruce Willis. Yes. John Rhys Davies is Max or Bear, a combination of the two. That is Michael Clark Duncan or Ken Hudson.
I think he's Bear, like just quintessentially Bear. Probably.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Orlando Bloom is AJ, Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Yes.
Christopher Lee is the General, Keith David. General Kimsey.
Yes.
Ian McKellen is the second in command, Will Patton. Chick.
Yes.
Who we got? Kate Blanchett. I literally wrote down hottie pilot.
That's her name.
Co-pilot Jennifer Watts, kicking people in the balls into outer space.
So good.
Sean Bean is William Fichtner, which is what's his name? Colonel Willie Sharp. Great names, dude. Great names.
Perfect names. Stamper. All
right. Hugo Weaving is Truman. Billy Bob Thornton. I love that they're just yelling Truman, and he has a leg condition too. It's just we get it.
Oh my God. I wish I could go up there.
Elijah Wood, is Steve Buscemi.
Yes, so good.
Rockhound.
So good.
Sean Astin is Gruber. He doesn't even have a first name in IMDb. He's just Gruber.
I think it's miscast. You make him Max.
Oh, Max. Okay, done. Max, perfect. Good. This is why you're on the podcast, Jessica.
Oh, okay, great. I'm so glad you started this show and invited me to co-host.
Me too.
Yeah.
Dominic Monaghan is Owen Wilson. What's his name? Oscar. Billy Boyd is Jason Isaacs.
Mm-hmm. Jesus, it's horrible casting.
No, it's so good.
Horrible.
I love it's so tough to recast Jason Isaacs because he's so good in this movie, but you get that Malfoy / the worst Britishman in The Patriot a year after this, and him saying he's well, I went to MIT with the president's scientific advisor, and I'm right. He's wrong. You don't
Billy
take
Boyd
advice
can't
from
do
a guy.
that.
You don't want to take advice from a guy who got a C- in astrophysics.
Billy Boyd can't do that.
So recast him, Jessica.
I'm just saying he can't.
Then who you got? Who you got then?
Who dies?
What's the, there's like
He's Gruber.
There's like the Eastern European guy. Yeah, okay, so Billy Boyd is
He's
Gruber.
Eddie Griffin.
So who's Jason Isaacs? We
don't need to recast that role.
We have to.
All right, then he's Denethor.
Oh, I could see that actually.
Yeah.
Who else is there in the Fellowship?
Hugo Weaving would do that role.
No, Hugo Weaving's a better Truman.
I don't think so, but that's fine. You know who's a better Truman? Theoden.
Oh, Bernard Hill?
Yeah.
I could see that. I'm keeping it though.
Okay, it's fine. I listen, I'm not trying to change anything. I'm just telling you how I feel. And maybe I should just let it go.
No, it's crazy how
Billy
important.
Boyd do it.
Yeah, it's crazy how important Jason Isaacs is in that moment.
Totally. To the point where I think about what a firecracker would do if I cut my hand over it all the time.
And I came this close to losing my hand one time with a firecracker. Like, I was like putting it in my friend's.
Bro.
I was I was a kid. I was 12. Yeah, I was a bro at 12. Yeah, okay. I was fucking a child, Jessica.
Careful with that phrasing.
I was a child, Jessica. I'm not Dr. Disrespect. Okay. And then Carl Urban is the cosmonaut Peter Stormare.
Very good. This all feels very good. All in all, last thoughts about this movie?
Just great.
Yeah.
Like, the voting democracy won today.
Yeah.
Just like America.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
all right.
It really did. Like, I'm sure Empire Records, we would have had fun with it, especially recasting that movie as well. I would have loved to finally watch The Strangers or Jersey Girl. I've never seen Jersey Girl.
And Jersey Girl's sweet.
It's a sweet little movie, but...
Also funny that she's paired up with him again. She must make him a better actor, because Ben Affleck's in that movie.
Yeah.
But we have decided that we are going to do Gimli next.
Yes, John Rhys-Davies. And we've got The Living Daylights and The Last Crusade. And I'm guessing The Last Crusade...
It's just going to win.
It's just going to win. So I think we're just going to do Last Crusade. If we want to do a vote, we can. We reserve that right. But it's...
I don't know that we have to for this guy. I think we just want a good excuse to watch Indiana Jones.
It's so good. Last Crusade's so great. It's my favorite Indiana Jones movie, too.
Yeah, I think it's like the only one I've seen all the way through anyway. So I need to have an Indiana Jones weekend. Like 10 or 15 years ago, I had a Back to the Futures weekend where I just watched all of them. Because it's one of those things you see bits and pieces of the third one, but you never watch it.
You need to do 2 and 3 back to back, too.
Have to. I didn't even know that there was a third one, No,
I remember, in 2020, that was, a show I used to have was, Ben's Blind Spots, and I did that one with my friend Brad Gilmore, who, wrote a book on Back to the Future, and I was like, oh, I need to, at least look at the cliff notes of 2, because everything, the fact that that's, a groundbreaking movie, that the end of that movie is a trailer for Back to the Future 3 is pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's just so good. And so my grander point being, I need to do that with Indiana. So let's just, for the record, we're watching that movie. Thanks everybody for engaging with the votes as we get into Vigo or a couple of the other people.
We've got so many with Vigo, and Sean Bean has a great collection of movies. Ian McKellen, obviously Christopher Lee, Cate Blanchett. We have so many votes upcoming, guys. We are going to do Last Crusade. Because it is his quintessential movie.
And
he has
such a good
300
movie.
Credits on IMDb. The man is a successful, accomplished actor. This is his movie.
And it would be the perfect movie to follow up with a banger like Armageddon. But we do want to thank you guys for voting, engaging with us on our socials, on X, on Instagram, on our Patreon, which, by the way, you can join our Patreon for free to get updates and just... We post there too, and our polls go there too. But also, if you're interested in our Podcast of the Dragon podcast,
good episode last night.
Very good. And I'm so sad about how it ended. But I'm actually really glad that we got a big question mark out of the way. There's some good things that happened in the last episode. So Ben and I are doing an exclusive Patreon Podcast for the $5 and up tiers. You could join that for 7 days for free to get a taste to see if you want that from us. You go to patreon.com/podcast of the rings. Pretty great value for 4 extra episodes a week just for $5. I'm sorry. Give us money. So
give us your money.
And Ben, if they're listening to us on their preferred podcast player, what should they do?
Give us 5 stars. If you can't give us money, times are tight. Groceries are like, there was a thing where a guy looked at his old Walmart cash, and it was like $150 or something for a month. Yeah. For like a month of groceries, and like he pushed same cart and it was like 400 something. It's crazy. So I get money's tight. No one's saying money's not tight. But if money's tight, you know what's not tight? Actually, what is pretty tight? I butchered that. Just give us 5 stars, guys.
You didn't. It was
I've got a haircut in 15 minutes. I got to get going.
We got to go. All right, Ben, until next time.
May our paths meet again. Wait, hold on. I got to find...
We win.
Earth was nice. Nice knowing you. Hold on.
Fun while it lasted.
Hold on, I gotta find one more.
You gotta go.
I don't care. Harry, that clock on that 9-foot nuclear weapon is ticking. Oh, yeah, let's go.
Bye.
Bye.